to another episode of the Reading Under the Covers Extra Bite podcast. I'm Francesca, and today I am doing a first impressions of the first 4 episodes of the Bridgerton series, season 3. And I'm also going to give you guys a comparison of my thoughts on how they adapted from the Romancing Mr. Bridgerton book. I just recently read the book myself, so everything is nice and fresh. If you don't want spoilers, maybe don't listen to this episode, but otherwise, let's get into it because I am so excited to share this with you. First things first, though, I will be making this episode available for free on our YouTube channel as well. So if you want some visuals for what I'm going to share next, head over to our YouTube channel to watch. But I did get a package from Avon Books this past week, and it came in the cutest envelope as well. I really loved it. Great packaging. And of course, the book as well with the tie-in cover. Absolutely adore these two. I think that they had great chemistry and it totally shows in this cover. So I really love it. If you haven't picked up the tie-in edition, go ahead and pick it up as well. It also came with a card with a quote from Lady Danbury, and it says, "Isn't it nice to discover that we're not exactly what we thought we were?" It also came with some page flags that I have already started using, so I don't have with me, and a little postcard with the cover and a note by Julia Quinn. So it says, "I hope you'll enjoy this gift ahead of season 3. This one's for the wallflowers." And the cutest sticker, it is a little mirror. So that's definitely going in my planner. First things first, let's talk about my first impressions of the 4 episodes, regardless of the book. And I absolutely loved it. I think that they did a really great job at building a tension within these 4 episodes to start the series. And if I'm being honest, I think it is my favorite from the 3 seasons that we've gotten so far. It probably has also a lot to do with the fact that these 2 characters already knew each other. There was already all this tension that it's been building. So I think that also helped along. But at the same time, there is a lot going on because we're not only getting the romance between Colin and Penelope, but we're also getting Francesca's debut. So there's a little bit of that introduction of a romance there and a small side plot as well with Benedict. So I was excited to see all that. I think that it really filled up the episodes really nicely to give us an overview of the whole family and everything that's going on. So in terms of the building of the storyline, it was really, really well done. All 4 episodes are really engaging, really addictive. They end where you don't want to just stop watching. You want to keep going. So I definitely binged all 4 at the same time. So I think that it's really easy to do. Back to the Penelope and Colin thing, I think that the 2 actors that are playing the characters are amazing individually, but at the same time together. They have excellent chemistry and it just comes through, especially the actress that's playing Penelope. She's amazing. I love her so much. I think all the emotions that Penelope's feeling really come through with her portrayal of her character, the awkwardness, the excitement, all of it. So I absolutely loved it. If you haven't read the books, I think you'll really enjoy the start of this season. And if you have read the books, we will talk about that a little bit later. I love that we also get to see Kate and Anthony as well pop in and see them as well as a married couple and now how they're navigating that while still living in the house with the rest of the family. So that was also a nice addition. I think all of these things made for a very well-rounded storyline for these first 4 episodes. There's a lot going on, so there's no dull moment and it's really fast-paced. Now, was there a need to break up the season into 2 separate releases? I'm not really sure that there was. Absolutely, it ends in kind of a cliffhanger, and that cliffhanger actually relates exactly to the halfway point of the book. That sort of matches, but I feel like it wasn't really needed to build up this tension and release it in 2 parts. So I kind of wish that they would have done that differently and just given us all 8 episodes all at once. However, we don't really have to wait too much. It's just a month. So I will definitely be super excited and anticipating that drop of the last 4 episodes. Now, like I said, they are doing a mix of couples in this one. So we do get a little bit of a romance of Francesca and kind of Benedict as well. So I wonder, since they did skip Benedict's book, how they're going to mix that in, or if they're planning on just mixing all of these romances into this one season. So maybe they will not get their own season. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out in the next 4 episodes. Do I feel like that would be kind of cheating us out of maybe some really good seasons? Probably. But I also understand that maybe they don't want to be tied into a really long running series. Fingers crossed, though, that's not the case. Now, in terms of how it follows the plot of the book, I will say this: the plot is completely different so far. And some of that is the fact that we got to know who Lady Whistledown was in the first season on the TV show, and that is not the case in the books. So I think that definitely changed the dynamic overall of how the seasons were going to go and how the stories were going to go, especially since we brought in Eloise in season 2 as finding out that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. That is obviously one major thing that is not the case in the book, and because we do find out in Romancing Mr. Bridgerton that Lady Whistledown is Penelope, it did take away from that major plot line that was there in the book. However, the buildup of the relationship between Penelope and Colin, I think, could have been done differently, although I absolutely love the way it's plotted out in the TV show. It is completely different than the book. There are still some scenes that I love that she kept in, and we'll talk a little bit about those in a more of a spoiler section for this episode. But if you're really a stickler for book adaptations that follow really close to the book, I think this one deviates a little bit more than some of the previous seasons. Now, in my opinion and my enjoyment, I absolutely loved what they did, so it didn't really bother me. Okay, so now let's get into the spoilers. So if you haven't read the books or you haven't watched the show and you don't want spoilers, skip ahead, because we will get into some actual information of what happens, whether it's in the book or in the show, and how they compare. So the Lady Whistledown thing, obviously the main difference is the fact that Colin is not the one that discovers that Penelope is Lady Whistledown. And I think that took away some of the tension that was definitely going to be there between the two of them in that moment. So we didn't get that scene yet. And one thing that I am not sure that I like is the timing, because we get the ending of this first 4 episodes of season 3 is where there's the carriage scene and a marriage proposal. And I feel like going into the decision of getting married, in the book, Colin already knew that she's Lady Whistledown, and in the show, he doesn't. So I think that is a change that I would have preferred to see follow more the book, because it will create a completely different dynamic when he finds out after being engaged. So we will see how that goes when the other 4 episodes are released. I'm definitely curious to see how they're going to address that, because I feel like that is a changing point that I am not such a fan of. The other thing that was a big difference is the fact that there is another suitor that wants to marry Penelope. And while I think that I really enjoyed that in the TV show, again, differs from the book. And then for side characters, we do get to see Cressida, and I feel like in the book, obviously she's this person that has really done horrible things to Penelope, and I really did not like the fact that was the one friend that Eloise gravitated towards, or also how in the show she's portrayed as a character who you may end up caring for and maybe getting redeemed. I don't necessarily like that, just from what I know that she's done in the books. So I wish that she would have just been kept as her evil character, and hopefully still playing the role that she plays in the book in the next 4 episodes of the series. So I'm not sure which way they're going to go with it. I wish that would have been kept the same. And the other thing that I feel we were kind of cheated out of is the fact that a lot of Colin realizing that he's in love with Penelope sort of happens off screen in the show, because of the fact that she has another suitor, and he's dealing with all of those feelings alone, and we don't get to actually see some of those happening. So there was quite a bit of disconnect between their friendship. And then once she starts spending time with Lord Devlin, there's a lot less moments where they spend time together, Colin and Penelope. So I really wish there was a little bit more of that while he's dealing with his feelings and actually interacting with Penelope. So I would have loved to see more of that. Now, I was really happy that they kept the scene of Penelope finding Colin's journals and reading them. And I am excited to see how they're going to develop that storyline in the show. In the books, he's actually a bit jealous of Lady Whistledown once he finds out, obviously, that she's Penelope. And it's because he wants to have those journals published. And I think that was also a major character point for his character. So I hope that stays in the show and that we do get to see a little bit of that in the next 4 episodes. We really didn't get to see that in the first 4, except that one scene. Speaking of scenes, I was happy to see that the carriage ride scene, where at the end of it he proposes, was happy that was kept in the show. However, I hope that we do get to still see the scene where he comes into her family home and has to ask for her hand in marriage to her mother. So I hope that is kept. That was a fun scene, and I really would love to see that. Something else that really hasn't happened yet, and I feel like probably should have earlier on, is Lady Danbury offering money to find out who Lady Whistledown is. I really hope that they keep that at least for the second half of the season. And I think another plot point that is not delved on too much in the first 4 episodes is the personality struggle that Colin goes through, because he feels that all of his other brothers have a role to play, especially within the family and their place in society, what responsibilities they have. And in the book, we see him struggle with what is his identity, what's his responsibility, how is he going to make his mark in the world. Part of that is the fact that he does want to get the journals published. But at the same time, I think that those would have been conversations that delved a little bit deeper on the connection between Colin and Penelope if those scenes could have been included. And I think that I did miss some of that. I'm sure we're going to get to explore some of those in the second half, which is hopefully going to be the after the wedding part, or at least I hope that they keep it that way. I am definitely looking forward to the next 4 episodes that are going to drop in June. I'm so curious to see what they're going to do with the Francesca and Benedict plot lines as well, to see if they're going to wrap those up in this season or if they're just the precursors for the next season to give us a little bit of a teaser of what's to come. So far, I think that this series is a great representation of historical romance. I think that you can watch it perfectly without reading the books as well. But if you want to read the books, you're also in for a treat. If you want more Bridgerton, we've done a complete series guide for the Bridgerton series on the blog, which I will leave linked down below. It also tells you everything about related series, reading order, so you can get into the whole Bridgerton world. And speaking of the Bridgerton world, I think we are missing the theater that they go to. So I am definitely hoping that is in the next 4 episodes. Now, if you're watching this and you want to get more episodes from the Reading Under the Covers Extra Bite podcast, there are 2 ways for you to subscribe. Either right from your Apple Podcast app, find the Reading Under the Covers podcast, and you will see a subscribe to the Extra Bite episodes. Or you can get the Extra Bite podcast if you are a member of our Under the Covers community. I will leave a link where you can find out more about the community also down below. And that's all I have for you guys today. Those are my first impressions of the Bridgerton Season 3 first 4 episodes. Let us know in the comments what you thought of Bridgerton Season 3. If you want to get into reading more historical romance, I'm going to leave some links in the show notes down below. We have a comprehensive genre guide that tells you everything that you could possibly want to learn about the genre, character types that you can find, common tropes, time periods. We also have our list of all-time favorite historical romances. And if you're a beginner to the genre, I think that historical romantic comedies, which Bridgerton kind of is, would be perfect for you to dive into. So I will also leave a link to those in the show notes down below. As always, don't forget to follow us on the blog at underthecoversbookblog.com. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter. It comes in your inbox every single week, so you don't miss any of the new content that we have for you guys. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and Twitter as UTC Book Blog, and YouTube as Under the Covers Book Blog. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!